Hi, my name is Lauren Hackett, and I'm here to speak to you guys about Christianity. So Christians have gotten a pretty bad rep over the past few years, have they not? And I'm not one to say that they've really been helping their case. However, there have been perspectives and stigmas placed on the Christian faith that I really believe is unfair and is untrue to the actual root of the faith. And given our collegiate affiliation, I'm sure a handful of you in here are Christians and have personally experienced either prejudice or hate because of your beliefs. Now, I've been a Christian my whole life and have studied the Bible deeply for the past 18 years as I attended Christian school all the way from pre-K, even started in the home. So I'm here to share with you guys and give you a new perspective on who Jesus was, because I think that once you have an idea of who he is, you'll be able to understand Christians as a whole. Now, one of the most common misconceptions of Jesus was that he judged and he hated, because people look at certain Christians and think they're hateful, and so they're like, oh, well, Jesus must have done the same. However, this is not true. We can trace this all the way back to John 8, 1 through 11, the story of the adulterous woman. Now, there was this woman who had committed adultery, and she was out in the courtyard, and she was about to be stoned by a group of men. However, Jesus intervened and stopped these men, and he told her that she was free to go. Now, why would Jesus do this? This is a woman who committed a sin that is explicitly stated is not okay with God. And yet Jesus intervened and saved her and told her that she was to go and sin no more. Jesus showed love to a woman who, in that society, did not deserve it. And then again, we see the story of Matthew the tax collector. Matthew the tax collector, if you know anything about that time, tax collectors were hated. They were people who kind of, in a way, stole from society. Yet Jesus came to him and actually chose him to be one of the 12 disciples. Now, isn't that fascinating? Jesus chose this man hated by society and actually brought him into his inner circle to minister to other people and to share the gospel. And that's all talked about in Bible Gateway. You can look at the footnotes and it gives you a little bit more of an idea. Now, New Spring Church talks about John 3:17, which is a really interesting verse. It says, God did not send his son to condemn the world, but in order that it might be saved through him. God the Father sent his son not to judge people, not to hate them, but to actually love on them in such a way that it brings them into a relationship with him. Now, isn't that something we can get behind? Not a hateful faith. Now, not only do people believe that Jesus judged people, but they also believe that no one can have fun. I'm sure if you're a Christian, you've had that experience where people say, oh, so you're homophobic? Oh, so you're a misogynist? Oh, so you don't drink? These are all just common misconceptions of Christianity, in my opinion. And once you look at the person of Jesus, it's understandable. No, you don't just listen to Kids Bop. You are not a caveman, and you're allowed out of your house. Now, UCG.org talks about the fact that Jesus actually attended festivals. He went to a very common harvest festival and celebrated with the people. He had tons of fun. And then he even went to parties with Matthew. He enjoyed celebrating life with other people. That is not a sin to him. He loved being in the community and celebrating something with other people. That is a healthy part of Christianity. It's something that we're supposed to do. Now, I'm sure, regardless of whether you're a Christian or not, you can probably guess or remember what Jesus' first miracle was, where he turned wine into water, right? No, where he turned water into wine. That was Jesus' first miracle. That is important, the fact that it was first. And it was not turning a potentially intoxicating thing into water. He turned water into a celebratory drink for people to enjoy. Now, I think that says a lot about him. He brought that to the people. Now, this is not saying that you should become intoxicated, that you should get drunk, because that is explicitly stated in the Bible that that is not good. That is considered a sin. But you have to make a distinction between those two things rather than just lumping all Christians into this group of people that says they cannot drink at all. So if Jesus loved all these people, loved them for who they were, and actually had so much fun with everyone he was with, what does that say about Christianity today? It actually says a lot. It says a lot about who Christians are supposed to be, about how people should perceive other Christians, and about how Christians should act towards other people. Now, the Pew Research Center actually did a study that was on different types of faith, but especially Christians and the way they reacted to certain social issues, the way they thought about certain sins, what they thought about that. And it actually provided a lot of interesting data. Now, 41% of Christians do not oppose gay marriage. And they do not just not care. 41% of Christians actually supported gay marriage. I think that says a lot, does it not? If you actually look at the facts of what people believe and not just these stigmas placed on them, you'll see that Christians actually support love. They really do. And you know what? It's not Christians' jobs to judge. And that is what, if you look at the person of Jesus, he did not judge. And he called us not to judge. He called us to love other people. That is the job of Christians. And now one of the other questions is, what did Christians think about drinking? 52% of Christians drank alcohol, when they wanted. And now you're probably thinking, yeah, that's like only half. That's not very much. Well, only 65% of atheists drank. When we really look at the statistics, it's not that different. Christians are not that different from other people in the way that they view alcohol. I think this says a lot. Why are Christians actually not that far off from regular people? It's because they're not. They just have a faith that calls them to different actions and causes them to have a relationship with God that they choose, and they choose to spread that with other people. Now, I'm not saying that Christians walk outside of those lines and perform hateful acts and are judgmental. That is on them, but it is not on the entire Christian community. So I hope if you are a Christian here that you are encouraged, because I know it's hard. And others of you who've been placed into a stigma and have stereotypes placed on you, I'm sure you can understand how frustrating that is. And it just is. Because we're not all the same. But we do have root beliefs that we want people to understand so they can get the big picture. Now, Jesus shows the truth of the faith, I believe. So I hope that when you all looked at and understood what the Bible actually said, you have an idea of what Christians are actually trying to walk, what they're actually trying to say without all of the political and social perspectives thrown onto them. And at the end of the day, I believe that if everyone did that vacation Bible school, I know you all remember it because we were all taught it. The big question, what would Jesus do? If we all asked ourselves that every single day for every single thing we did, I think we would live in a much less hateful and a much more celebratory world.